So the big question is this: how do small businesses like yours, who feel like you're doing all the right things and going to all the right events, reach the federal buyer in a way that helps you win more contracts? That is the question, and this is the place to get your answers. My name is Neil McDonnell. Welcome to the GovCon Chamber of Commerce. Okay, let's get started. My name is Neil McDonnell. I'm the founder and president of the GovCon Chamber of Commerce, and I'm going to walk you through a small portion of our website. I want to make sure folks out there have a chance to know what content we put out, because we have hundreds of training videos and blog posts, podcast interviews, et cetera. And we want to make sure you get access to this information. If you haven't been to the GovCon Chamber site in a while, you'll see our redesign here. And we have two types of members here, basically. And the first group, everything's free and it's outside of the requirement to have an email and a password. If you want to get some of our more advanced stuff, our courses, we keep them in a library that just requires you to have an email and a password to log in. Other than that, the chamber's completely free. You just access it one way or another there. Obviously, we're always happy for sustaining members, and we really appreciate our sustaining members. But for everybody else, you have access to the free stuff. I want to show you our homework series today, because we're always told as small businesses in the federal government contracting space that you need to do your homework. You know, did you do your homework? And I remember what it was like over the last 20 years. And people would say that. I'm like, what do you mean? What am I supposed to be looking at? How do I do my homework? Like, what exactly do you want me to know? And over the past 3-4 years, I've really been trying to formalize that in a process, if you will, just of what does homework mean? So homework really means for a federal agency that you understand what they do, their mission and vision, that you understand the challenges that they face, and you understand the goals and strategic objectives they have for the future years. So I'm going to show you our homework series. You can see it here in our top navigation menu. And when you click on it, I've got the top link here, which will take us to a main page I'm going to show you in a second. Otherwise, you can drive straight to the agency you might want to do some homework on. You can see we've got a lot. I did a whole bunch of material on CMMC, the DoD's cybersecurity maturity model certification. When it was first coming out and being discussed, we did a whole bunch of stuff around that to just help people understand what that meant and where it was going. Anyways, let me go to the homework series homepage. You're getting to it off the top navigation, and I'm just killing time while it loads. All right, so here, when you come in, you'll see some basic stuff. In here, actually, it's a video, give you a little bit of understanding of the homework series. Coming down, we've got all sorts of new content we're doing in 2021 related to how you do your business. And a big part that I want to make sure everybody understands is sales. How do you do sales? I've been doing sales 30 years. I started off doing sales, knocking on doors, selling vacuum cleaners. And if you know anything about door-to-door vacuum cleaner salespeople, it is a tough gig, but you need to learn the process to be successful in there. And I was successful there after learning. And I continued throughout my entire career, even when I was in the Army and other places, doing variations of sales. But I certainly have been doing sales for the last 20 years in the federal space. And so I've begun to put together some courses on sales, simple things like how do you get in the door? How do you request meetings? How do you prepare for a meeting? How do you run the meetings when you're in there? One of my favorite things to say, and I've been saying it for decades, is you can either have a successful meeting or a great meeting. And most of us have great meetings. Hey, it was awesome. Jane and John talked to me and we were able to talk a lot about an opportunity or blah, blah, blah. And a successful meeting, though, is one that comes with an actionable or an action item coming out of that meeting. You know, I talked to Jane and John, they really liked what we're doing. They said the opportunities along the lines of what our core competencies are, and they set up or committed to set up an interview with the program office or a meeting, an introduction meeting with the program office. You want to always get something. And so that's the purpose of these sales videos. I really want to teach people in the government contracting space. It's not about going to sam.gov and pulling down an opportunity and responding to it, right? It's not about bids and responses. It's about sales. And so you'll learn that kind of stuff in there. So definitely come over and click on some of that. Watch for new stuff that comes every single day. We're putting out video training. Okay, so this is the part that I particularly like, is all of these agency sections, and I'm going to just kind of click on a bunch of them and walk through like this. So we just got a bunch of open, and I'll come back to that in a second. These agency ones are where I did a lot of material focused on specific agencies. How do I teach you about the Army or Coast Guard, et cetera? Coming down, you'll see a lot of other type of material we have. My favorite is the DSBS Bootcamp. There is nothing that is more important to do than completing your SAM and DSBS profile. Not a single thing in federal government contracting is as important as this. If you do this correctly, it will lead into everything else you need to do. It'll feed you the content you need for a capability statement. If you want a capability deck put together to brief a customer, it'll have the material for it. If you're looking to understand better about how customers search for you, you'll learn that in the DSBS Bootcamp. It's just a free course. It's a really in-depth course. It's 5 hours. 2021, I'm going to try to create a streamlined version of it, but I dig very far into this. And so it'll help you answer every question you have about filling out the profile. And you can see some of this other stuff. We try to provide you access to the various databases that are out there so that you're not just registering in SAM, but you're registering in the Navy where they have spots, EPA has spots, any government agency you want to be registering in. It'd be nice if you had a spot to find them. Here they are. And then you can read some of this other stuff. You know, we got videos and podcast series. Our podcast, we constantly evolve what we're offering. And so we did a lot of small business and contracting officer type podcasts previously. This year in 2021, you'll see us doing a lot more content related to the actual program offices, bringing you program office leads, the actual buyers into our podcast, video podcast series, so that you can then follow up with those people directly and say, hey, I saw you on Neil's podcast. Could we talk? Okay. So that's this homework dashboard. If you think of it that way, and we constantly evolve it. So just keep coming back and check. So let me walk through some of these homework pages, and they're all different depending on how much effort we put at different times towards stuff. So here you see the Air Force one. At the top, we try to put some key links. And so here's a link to the Air Force Small Business Office. You know, we want to just drive you right back to the Air Force. We're not trying to be proprietary with our information. We really are trying to be this umbrella over all of government contracting that makes it easy for you to come here and step off to the right places. And you'll see, like if you went into the regional resources, you would see a ton of links to PTACs, SBDCs, et cetera, all around. Anywhere we can send you to find more information, we want to do that. And we want you to come back here to use it as a stepping off and or to learn. Okay, so you see some of this other links. We've got this link for the small business specialists in each one of the agencies. We try to make it easy for you to find all those people. If this is your target agency, then we want you to be able to quickly find the small business specialist who you then will whittle down to the ones you should contact. Here's a link back to the Air Force for their MAGCOMs, but we also do it ourselves. So here's a video I did on the Air Force with several different key people. So small business specialists out in Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma, a couple others. We like to bring these experts together so that you're not getting the Neil way, right? The thing that makes me the expert in GovCon government contracting, and I am an expert in government contracting, right? I've been doing this a long time as a small business owner and now as a coach, if you will. But the thing that makes me an expert is that I listen to these PTAC counselors. I listen to the small business specialists and the contracting officers. I summarize what they say and I bring it right back to you in what I think is just a different way of saying it, but it's exactly their tips. I'm not trying to teach you some new process. I'm trying to teach you what they want in order for you to succeed. If you keep coming down, you'll see we did a lot of podcast episodes and we put them all in here. They relate to different areas. So Sally Walton and Colleen Burns, the reason they're in this Air Force page is because some of their responsibilities relate to the Air Force. I've done different videos on PCR, so you can learn more about that. But here was a contracting officer with Sam. Actually, he's out of the Air Force now, but he was an active contracting officer when he was doing it. It's funny. A lot of people have kind of retired, so I need to go back to the Air Force and add more. But Valerie was the 𝘂𝗶𝗏 for the Navy, you know, the Office of Small Business Professionals or whatever they call that. Okay, so let's go to another one here. This one is GSA. Again, just some basic stuff in here. I think you'll see in 2021 that we massively increased this because it's very important for me to teach people about contract vehicles. Not everyone can be on them. It's just the way the game's played, but everyone can try to get on them as a teammate. And a lot of the contract vehicles are managed out of GSA, and it's a great place to start learning stuff. So we put some good information here to help people figure that out. Let me go to this next page here. Okay, so Navy is one that I've been doing a lot with because really they're just one of the most open departments in the entire federal government with their information. And since they're open, I try to share it. Anybody who's connected with me on LinkedIn knows I share strategic plans all the time. But in here, you've got same thing, small business office, you've got their forecast and small business professionals. If you click on that, you'll see a map of their professionals and a listing of, I don't know, 100, 150 small business professionals around the Navy. So you can use that to find the right people for what you sell. There's a lot of videos that I've created. Let me just see if I can click on that really quick on YouTube. So if you come out to YouTube, you'll see this series on the Navy and a lot of other videos I've done in the past. So there's 10 videos in here right now. And you want to keep watching that if Navy's a customer of yours, because we plan on putting out about 15 or 20 more videos, really doing a deep dive into the Navy, trying to bring small business participation and knowledge up there. I do a lot of videos like these ones here that you can see with the 90-second tip, where we were just trying to introduce you to the buying commands, right? There's a lot of operational administrative commands in the Navy. These ones are called buying commands primarily because that's where most of the money comes through. And so you want to take a look at that. Like 𝗏𝐶 is, I think they're 30% of the entire Navy budget. So getting to know these and beginning to understand the terms is really helpful. I definitely have to update it though, because I noticed it's got 𝗱_war, not 𝗏_war, but we'll get back to that. Here's another one where we try to put links to all their long range forecasts where you can find them. By the way, anytime you click on a link, if something doesn't go where you think I was trying to send you, please just let us know. We'll update it rapidly, and that way no one else gets a bad link. Most of this should be good. And then coming down, we do videos like this one. This was one of my favorite ones. Dan Duckwitz out of 𝗏𝐶 gave me a tip about how he couldn't get to some vendors' websites, your websites, because they weren't registered with Symantec here. It was a really simple thing, but it was just a convoluted technical thing in the background. And so basically he and I created this 5-step approach to just getting it done. And so we put that video out. We do a lot of things like that. And then coming down, you see the operation plans or strategic plans for the small business offices. This is really helpful for you to understand how those buying commands are trying to reach you and how they're trying to do better with their internal customers on bringing small businesses into the industrial base that they have access to. Some other stuff you just see. This one's huge, very important to me, is that sam.gov and dsbs is not the only place you could register. HHS has their own registration tool. EPA does. Here you can see NAVFAC does. Unfortunately, this tool wasn't working, this early part of 2021. So hopefully they're working on it, and I'm definitely reaching out to them. But they have a hub zone directory, an SDVO directory, a woman's directory, a woman-owned small business directory. And so you want to go there and get registered. Wherever we find these, we put that information right back out to the membership and really the community at large, but to the membership through an email notification or something that says, go register on here so you can just get found. There's no point in being in business and then not putting your name in the phone book. Some other stuff in here is just videos I've done that I think you'll find valuable. Here's access to some of the Navy stuff. So their YouTube channel and some of the other things they're doing. And then the last thing I think is the podcast. Same kind of activity here, except for Emily. These other guys are still in the Navy. So you can watch the video and then get back to them. Same thing you see as we go through in the Army. We try to keep this theme wherever we can. I took the Army vision, I put it into this video, a 3-minute video. The Army vision was just really poorly delivered, right? It was as if somebody dumped it all together in one big paragraph and released it. And so I took it and I broke it down, and I broke down what they were trying to do, because to me, it's really important. If you're going to go into the Army, as an example, then you should understand what the Army does and what they're trying to do, what their vision is for the next, for them it was like 10 years, 5-10 years is really important to understand. And so this video is 3 minutes, but it summarizes it. And then I did the same thing down here with the commands, trying to understand the Navy, the Army, the Air Force. What are the commands like? How do you understand where you might fit? So you can see these different commands that were laid out previously. And then inside of here, I thought this was a pretty cool video that just gives you in 1 minute and 50 seconds an understanding of where the major commands are. And then you decide which ones are a good fit for you. And I've done videos like that recently as well. Here's some more Meet the Experts panel. This was contracting officer, or small business specialist when Tommy Marks was still at the Army. So I got to refresh this and get new ones. But Malia and Carlo and Tommy were just awesome, providing a ton of information. And then these videos, this is a little unique with the Army, but occasionally when I'm working with a customer, and I only work with just a couple of customers to constantly keep in this mix and making sure the process I'm telling you are still very, very valid. And so during this phase, I was helping somebody with the Army and how do I get into the Army and how do I know how to navigate? So this, there's like 2 or 3 videos here, I think, that walk you through how did I go through 𝗂𝗶𝗱, Army Depot, or U.S. Army CCOM, NETCOM. How did I go through their websites to find the people I want to talk to? How did I learn what do these guys do, and then who should I talk to within there? When you do any kind of calls into an agency, you want to make sure you're prepared. These videos, I don't see how long they are, right? It doesn't show it here, but it doesn't matter how long they are. Watch them. If you want to go into any agency and you want to know how to prepare, this is how I prepare. And I can get in any door I want, not because I'm special, but because I follow a process, the process to get in. I only knock on doors that I can fit. I'm not knocking on a door for construction if I'm doing IT and vice versa, right? So the reason I have such success is because I only knock on doors that I should be going into, and I always am prepared. So these are good videos, so you definitely want to watch those. Same thing in DHS. I'm just going to go through these a little bit faster so you see what we try to do at the GovCon Chamber is just putting out as much information as we can for you. Here is the HHS Small Business Director I mentioned on the right. And that one there, just to put this in perspective, right? HHS has a directory of small businesses, and they tell us to register in there. There's over 5,000 HubZone firms in the federal government space right now, certified HubZone firms. Inside of HHS, there's only like 474 companies listed. So of the 5,000 hub zones, only 474 are listed. And if HHS is looking for a hub zone, they're not going to go out to the list of 5,000 when they got 474 right there in their own directory. If they look in their directory, find several that work for them, then they're golden. And so they don't go anywhere else. If you do nothing else, go register. It takes, I don't know, like let's call it 15 minutes, 30 minutes. But if that results in $100,000 in revenue or $1 million in revenue, then do you think that 15 minutes was spent well? Yeah, I do too. Okay, so then I love doing these videos where I try to break down a department and say, hey, here's the agencies, here's where they're at. So you can watch that video as well. Some other useful information. I did spending trends as I went through here, and that was really important to just research that stuff. And then the last thing is this OSDBU Eventbrite thing. HHS has a lot of events, and so we link you right to their events list so you can decide which ones look good and sign up for them. Same thing you see down here, Army Corps of Engineers. We had a lot of stuff in there. They put out a lot of information. Whenever I can find it, I share it. An example is this Rock Island fiscal year 2020-2021 contract forecast. That forecast was great. I think I did a whole video on that separately that I didn't even put on this website. But it's really important to kind of get in there and see. These last couple, I got a couple more tabs just so you see them. Here's DHS overall. DHS was actually where I started the HubZone Chamber Homework Series, if you will, where we're trying to explain DHS. We do a lot. My favorite thing is to talk about strategic plans. I know for some people it's just really eyes glazing over, but it has so much content and strategic plans. So I'll just keep putting that out there because if I can find gems and share it with you, then I will. But give you a quick sidebar. One strategic plan I did recently for the Coast Guard had, it was like a report and a strategic plan put together. And in it, it had the names of key stakeholders within a team. For example, somebody wanted to do cloud or cybersecurity. It had all the people who were part of a team on cybersecurity. They were congratulating them for doing a great job or something. But there you go. I had, from reading this document, I found 10 or 12 people who were all in that space, all of them in I think I said the Coast Guard, right? So all of them in that Coast Guard environment, it was awesome. And if I want to continue to do my research and try to knock on doors, now I at least have names. So that's really important. This DHS has got a great list of all their prime contractors to try to team up. So, here you can reach out to them. And then I haven't done a lot of podcasts with them. I got to get back. Oh, that's funny. I like when I see my own mistakes. I'll go fix that. But Kevin Boshier, that's what I was trying to come down to, though. He was my 6th episode, but he was like I don't know, you hear people talking about the father or the mother of something. And I think he was kind of arguably one of the fathers of the 𝗬𝗲𝗄𝗏 program and small business program throughout the government. He was part of a committee and he was so generous with his time. He's been gone from the government for several years now, but this episode is still very valid because if you go in, everything he's sharing is evergreen tips for government contracting. So go ahead and listen to that along with a lot of the other material. Just keep it down. I got 2 more tabs to go through on this. NASA's got a lot of stuff I've done over the past couple of years with them. I lay out things like obviously their organizational, how they organize by centers, but then also just helping you understand it from an org chart and people standard. If you go in, you can begin to find out who's in charge of different areas. I told you this before, strategic plans, annual reports. These are excellent documents to do your research going in. So we try to put them all in there. You can see this material, but they also have their database. So you want to get in there and register in their database. A lot of stuff that they communicate to the small business community. So that's very important to get in. And then again, a whole bunch of videos down here that if you watch them, you find a lot of, I believe, helpful nuggets that'll improve your chances of success in NASA as you're knocking on doors. So let me come back up. And our last guy here is the Coast Guard. It's one of my more recent favorites out there. Dwight Daniel, who's now at DLA, used to work over here, and he was so generous with his time, helping me understand the Coast Guard in a way I could share it out to the small business community. Same thing with Mike Darius, who's the head of contracting activity over there. These guys have a lot of information. They're very committed to using small businesses within the Coast Guard, and they look for you to kind of follow up and learn about it. So there's a ton of information in here that you can get. So you can see these links that are on here. A lot of videos I put together. So go to YouTube as well, and you find my videos over there. Some of them I think we put here, and some of these are recent ones where I'm really trying to expand the Coast Guard presence. And then you see some videos coming down. This one I put in, I thought it was great because it's the state of the Coast Guard. And this is Admiral Schultz letting his own team know what's going on as it relates to the Coast Guard. But it's important for us vendors to listen sometimes when the commander is speaking downstream to or the commandant is speaking downstream to the Coast Guard team. We can hear what's important to him and also what he's celebrating from previous years. And then, like I do everywhere, you'll see all these documents that are just excellent reference materials. So you don't have to search for them. I already search for them and make them available for you there. So anyways, I hope you get a chance to come out here soon to the homework series. If you see something that you really like, let me know. I appreciate hearing that because then I can do more of that stuff you like. And if you see stuff you're missing, or questions that you'd like to have answered, just let me know. And not only will I answer it for you, but I'll answer it in a training webinar that we can put out here. If you found this content valuable and this video valuable that I'm doing, others are going to as well. So please give it a thumbs up so they can find it. If you'd like to connect with me personally, do so on LinkedIn. We often do free training webinars, so make sure you sign up for the GovCon Chamber's email list right here. Because I'm actually signed in, you can't see the link. But if I was not signed in, you see a link that says sign up. And then finally, please consider becoming a sustaining member of the GovCon Chamber of Commerce. Help us pave the way for $1 a day. I'm Neil McDonnell, wishing you great success.